A Life, a Bowl of Rice, by L. Debras. Beau Sam stood in the doorway by his sugar-cane stand and watched with narrowed eyes an old man who shuffled uncertainly down the alley towards him. "Hu, lama!" cried Beau Sam in surprised Cantonese as the old man drew near. "Hello there! I scarcely knew you, venerable Fang." Fang, the hatchet man, straightened his bent shoulders and looked up. There was a gleam in his deep bronze eyes that was hardly in keeping with his withered frame. "Hula ma, Beau Sam," he said, his voice strangely deep and vibrant. "You have grown very thin," remarked Beau Sam with friendly interest. "High-low, that is true, but why carry around flesh that is not food?" The sugar-cane vendor eyed the other shrewdly. What was the gossip he had heard concerning Fang, the famous old hatchetman? Was it not that the old man was always hungry? Yes, that was it. Fang, whose long knife and swift arm had been the most feared thing in all Chinatown, was starving, too proud to beg, too honest to steal. "You have eaten well, venerable Fang?" The inquiry was in a casual tone, respectful. "I have eaten well," replied the old hatchetman, averting his face. "How unfortunate for me! I have not yet eaten my rice, for when one must dine alone, one goes slowly to table. Is it not written that a bowl of rice shared is doubly enjoyed? Would you not at least have a cup of tea while I eat my mean fare?" "I shall be honored to sip tea with you, estimable Beau Sam," replied the hatchet-man with poorly disguised eagerness. "Then condescend to enter my poor house. Ah, one does not often have the pleasure of your company in these days." Beau Sam preceded his guest to the wretched hovel that was the sugar-cane vendor's only home. There he quickly removed all trace of the bowl of rice he had eaten but a moment before. "Will you take this poor stool, venerable Fang?" said Beau, setting out the only stool he possessed and placing it so that the hatchetman's back would be to the stove. Wearily, Fang sat down. Beau put out 2 small cups, each worn and badly chipped, and filled them with hot tea. Then, while the hatchet-man sipped his tea, Beau uncovered the rice kettle. There was but 1 bowl of rice left. Beau Sam had intended to keep it for his evening meal, for until he sold some sugar-cane, he had no way of obtaining more food. Behind Fang's back, Beau took 2 rice bowls and set them on the stove. 1 bowl he heaped full for the hatchetman. In the other, he put an upturned tea bowl and sprinkled over it his last few grains of rice. "Let us give thanks to the gods of the kitchen that we have food and teeth and appetite," chuckled Beau Sam, seating himself on a sugar-cane box opposite Fang. "Well spoken," returned the old hatchetman, quickly filling his mouth with the nourishing rice. "Ah, there is much in life to make one content." With his chopsticks, Beau Sam deftly took up a few grains of rice, taking care lest he uncover the upturned tea bowl. He was deeply grateful that he had a few teeth left, that he quite often had enough rice, and sometimes had meat as often as once a month. But to hear the proud old hatchetman express such sentiments on an empty stomach filled him with admiration. "What a virtue to be content with one's lot!" he exclaimed, refilling the hatchet-man's tea bowl. "Yet the younger generation are always fretting because they think they have not enough, while, as anyone knows, they have much more than we who first came to this land of the white foreign devil." "They are young," spoke Fang, nodding his head slowly. "For us, the days have fled, the years have not tarried, and we have learned that if one has but a bowl of rice for food and a bent arm for pillow, one can be content." "Hey, how can you speak so softly of the younger generation when it is they who have robbed you of your livelihood? I know the gossip. You, the most famous killer in Chinatown, find yourself cast out like a worn-out broom by these young upstarts who have no respect for their elders. Is it not true?" With his left hand, the old hatchetman made an eloquent gesture, peculiarly Chinese, much as one quickly throws open a fan. "Of what value are words, my friend? They cannot change that which is changeless. A word cannot temper the wind, nor a phrase procure food for a hungry stomach." "Nevertheless, I do not like such things," persisted Sam. "I love the old ways. You were an honorable and fearless killer." When you were hired to slay one's enemy, you went boldly to your victim and told him your business. Then, swiftly, even before the doomed one could open his lips, you struck, cleaned your blade, and walked your way. The modern killers, Bo Sam spewed the words out as one does sour rice. They are too cowardly to use the knife. They hide on roofs, fire on their victims, then throw away their guns and flee like thieves. Ha! What have we come to in these days? It was but yesterday after midday rice that I had speech with Garling, a gunman of the Sinwa Tong. He stopped to buy sugarcane, and I told him that had I the money I would hire him. There is one of the younger generation, the pockmarked son of Kwong, the dealer in jade, who has greatly wronged me and my honourable family name and my distinguished ancestors. As you very well know, one cannot soil one's own hands with the blood of vengeance. Moreover, I have no weapon, not even a dull cleaver. Neither can I afford to hire a fighting man. I was telling all this to Garling, went on Bo, straining the last drop of tea into Fang's bowl, and he told me he would settle my quarrel, but it would cost $1,000. When I told him I had not even 1,000 copper cash, he became angry and abusive. As he walked his way, quickly, like a foreign devil, he spat in my direction and called me an unspeakable name. Tss, tss. You should have wrung his neck. Repeat to me his unspeakable words. He said, cried Bo Sam, his face twisted in fury, that I am the son of a turtle. Hey, ya! How insulting! As anyone knows, in all our language there is no epithet more vile. That is true, but what is even worse, I did not remember until after he had gone that he had not paid me for the piece of sugar-cane. Such is the way of the younger generation, and we, who have been long in the land, can do nothing. Yet it is by such things that one learns the lesson of enduring tranquillity, remarked Fang, smacking his lips and moving back from the table. For about the time, then, that it takes one to make 9 bows before the household gods, neither man made speech. Then Fang arose. An excellent bowl of rice, my good friend. Aye, it shames me to have to give you such mean fare. And the tea was most fragrant. Tess, it was only the cheapest black dragon. The 2 old men went to the door. Ho Hang La, said the hatchetman. Ho Hang La, echoed the sugar-cane vendor. I hope you have a safe walk. Fang, the hatchetman, made his way down the alley to the rear entrance of a pawnshop. There he spoke a few words with the proprietor. I know you are honest, old man, said the pawnbroker, but instead of bringing it back, I hope, for your own sake, you will be able to pay what you owe me. Then from a safe he took a knife with long, slender blade and a handle of ebony in which had been carved an unbelievable number of notches. Fang took the knife, handling it as one does an object of precious memories, concealed it beneath his tattered blouse, and went his way. Near the entrance of a gambling house in Canton Alley, the old hatchetman met the pockmarked son of Kwong, the dealer in jade. For the wrong you have done Bo Sam, his family name, and his distinguished ancestors, said Fang quietly. And before the other could open his lips, the long blade was through his heart. In front of a cigar store in Shanghai Place, Fang found Garling, the gunman. I have business of moment with you, Garling, said the hatchet man. Come. Garling hesitated. He stood in great fear of the old killer, yet he dared not show that fear before his young friends. So with his left hand he gave a peculiar signal. A boy standing near with a basket of lychee nuts on his arm turned quickly and followed the 2 men down the alley. Drawing near his employer, the boy held up the basket as though soliciting the gunman to buy. Gar's hand darted swiftly into the basket, beneath the lychee nuts, and came out with a heavy automatic pistol, which he quickly concealed beneath his blouse. The old hatchetman knew all the tricks of the young gunman, but he pretended he had not seen. As they turned a dark corner, he paused. For the insulting words you spoke to Bo Sam, he said calmly, and the long blade glided between the gunman's ribs. As Fang drew the steel away, Garling staggered, fired once, then collapsed. Bo Sam stood in the doorway by his sugar-cane stand and watched with narrowed eyes an old man who shuffled uncertainly down the alley toward him. "Hula ma!" he cried, as the old man drew near. "I did not expect to see you again so soon." The old hatchetman did not raise his head nor reply. Staggering, he crossed the threshold and fell on his face on the littered floor. With a throaty cry, Bo Sam slammed the door shut. He bent over Fang. "This knife," said the hatchetman, "take it to Wong the pawnbroker. Tell him all worth more than I owe." "But what's—" "For the wrong that the pockmarked one did you, for the insult Garling spoke to you, I slew them," said Fang with sudden strength. "My debt is paid. Cao Comlock." "Hi! You did that? Why did you do that? I could never pay you. And look! Ya! Oh, how piteous! You are dying." With awkward fingers, the vendor of sugarcane tried to staunch the flow of blood where Garling's bullet had struck with deadly effect. "Pay me," breathed Fang the hatchet man. "Did you not feed me? Can one put a value on food when the stomach is empty? What matters it? A life," his eyelids fluttered and closed. "A life, a bowl of rice,